are dealing with a lot of trauma. You see a lot of trauma.
She's fallen a bit distance and she's definitely got a nice dinner fork fracture of her right wrist.
Yeah, we've got fine.
The buck stops with us really, but there's times when we do have to do things that are probably a little bit out of the ordinary.
Go on, get up, find him!
Because of the distance she's fallen, she's also banged her head.
If the pagers go off and you run to the incident, you can be the first person there.
You're stuck. It's quite a costly business, but it's great to be able to help people that are in need.
The Hope Valley is one of, if you like, the honeypots of mountain rescue within the UK. We're one of the 3 busiest teams in the country alongside Langdale and Ogwen Valley. But we have got all the eastern edges, so Stanage, Burbage, Millstone. Peak District's one of the busiest national parks, so we do see a lot of call-outs.
Because of the nature of the climbing, if they're going to fall off, they're going to hit the ground. So that's going to hurt and they're going to be a bit messy. So we do quite a lot of very serious injuries from climbers who've come off.
It's a sunny Sunday afternoon in June, and these volunteers are racing out on their 48th emergency call-out of the year.
Sounds like a fallen climber at Birchin's Edge, which is near Basildon. Sounds like the informant's gone down to the pub to raise the alarm.
Birchin's Edge is a popular spot for beginners, but today one climber has had a serious fall.
Everything's just leaving at this time.
Details are quite limited at the moment. Possible arm injury, possible head injury. That's basically all we've got at the moment. One of our paramedics is on his way up, and we're just waiting for an update from there. Make sure spare gases go as well. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we've got the ambulance service paramedic ahead of us, so we're just now going up with all the kit we're going to need to evacuate this fallen climber.
Martin, what splint do we want?
Alison Kinlock had almost reached the top of this face when climbers nearby heard her calling for help.
She was just above the ledge, where that kind of deep break is.
She started to struggle a little bit, and she shouted to me to help her. So I ran to the top to try and upset her off. By the time I got up there, she'd fallen off.
She was panicking and probably sweating on her hands and her legs are shaking.
I ran down and met them by the Robin Hood pub. By the time I was there, a guy had arrived from Edale Mountain Rescue. And then everyone else has assembled over the next 10 minutes or so. Amazing, really, really amazing response.
Going to give it a little bit more of this morphine, and then we're going to get ready to move you.
As she's gone up the crag, she's took a fall, landed, probably put her arm out. So she's definitely got an arm injury, but because of the distance she's fallen, she's also banged her head.
Tell me how your pain is at the minute.
A lot less than it was.
A lot less than it was.
There is potential that she may have damaged the back, which we can't tell here. So what we do is we treat them as though they have damaged the back. So it's belt and braces and may seem a bit OTT, but from our point of view it's better to be safe than sorry.
You have landed in the sunniest spot.
I know, I was just saying it's quite handy being sunny, because I thought a couple.
It's less than an hour since she fell, and already more than 20 volunteer rescuers are here to help.
I think she was only expecting a bit of a help-me-down, not a kind of an amazing response. It's ridiculous, it's really good. I don't know how many volunteers there are, but this is amazing.
Confirm isolated wrist injury.
Ready, brace, lift.
Straight up. Okay, guys, slide it in. Keep your feet out of the way, guys. That'd be great.
We've got the casualty on the stretcher, so what we'll do is they'll hand over hand down this rough ground here. So they'll pass the stretcher between one another rather than actually walking with it.
Ready, brace, lift.
Then when we get it down to the more even ground there, it'll go on the wheel and then straight back down the track, down to the ambulance at the car park.
Better than good at gym, this, isn't it? Get them biceps working.
Very lucky with the fall that she took, and could have gone a lot worse, but it's all been pretty simple. So yeah, very, very lucky.
They don't realise how many people it takes to get one person down off the hill. You think it's not that difficult, but 6 people on a stretcher, plus all the bags that we've already taken up to treat the patient, that's already a minimum of 12 just to extricate one person off the hillside.
So, as Alison heads off to hospital, these volunteers head back to prepare for their next call.
We'd all be ready to admit it is a buzz of excitement when we do get a call out. And the satisfaction when we finish that call out is immense, really. That's the fact, we get a buzz, really. At my age, I need a buzz.
You do come across situations where you can see the panic in their faces and the whites of their eyes, but then they recognise you as an organisation to come and help them, and that's what gives you the buzz from it.
If I didn't enjoy it, then I wouldn't do it. But it does become a part of your life. It takes a hell of a lot of time, but the main reason is I enjoy it. The time that I stop enjoying it, I shall stop doing it.
But rescues don't just happen on the peaks and moors.
They're right down there.
This team are now also ready to rescue in water.
We've been notified by local police of a concern for a missing angler. They've found his fishing box on the side of the river. We've been tasked just to search this stretch of river. A lot of it at the moment is obviously quite low, but there are some undercuts and things that can only be searched from the water, so that's primarily what we're going to be looking at. Mountain rescue teams in general now have taken on primarily water search and rescue to recover within their own teams. Some teams are expanding that and obviously making resources available to other emergency services.
Green, yeah, green. Yeah, affirmative, green, over.
They've just found a fleece which might be belonging to the person we're looking for. So we'll have to get back to the police and find out what he was last seen wearing. If that was it, maybe it's a clue.
Yeah, fine. We've got Brandon, can you check it for us, mate? Yeah, we have a find. He's alive, over.
Today they're training.
Confirm patient still alive.
But next time, this could easily be for real.
Basically he's going to come up to here and then probably with this head structure here, if you pull and we push, it should come out onto the bank.
It's really important that people are familiar with all the techniques and that they practice it hard.
Earlier this year we were in the same river and the water level was 2 foot high on this. There were large mature trees floating down and he took one of the ropes out at one bit, so it was really gnarly. What you see today is a sedate river turned into 24 hours a raging torrent.
I am convinced that the people I work with have absolutely no idea what I do at the weekend, even though I do tell them. This is completely different and it is a second job, and almost as much time goes into this as it goes into my other job, my real job.
There's a lot of people out there that still think that we do get paid and we do it as a job. It would be nice to do it, but as it stands at the minute, it is just a voluntary organisation.
But it's not just men and women who make up the members of this team. Meet Flash, the team's fastest searcher.
The team's pretty good at searching without a dog, and her role really is to fill the gaps in. She needs to search where we can't see. So if anybody's hidden from view, the dog's there to reduce the chance of the team missing her.
I'll find him.
Good girl, Flashy, wait! Go on, get up! The team are really good. They like their dog and sometimes they like me when I find they're lost property, but yeah, we have a great time. There's nothing better than working a dog, especially a good dog like this one. She's looking for that particular smell of somebody who's sat down or laying down in the undergrowth or behind a rock, something like that, and they can smell the difference. Good girl, what have you got there? Where is she? There's a clever girl. Ah, what a good girl. We work as a bit of a small team around the Peak District and go outside as well. We went to Wales to help with the April Jones search and lots of occasions go outside the Peak District. We'd have a job to become more professional whether we were paid or not. I really wouldn't want to get paid for it. It's based on climbers and walkers helping each other and volunteering within the community, and it'd be different if we were paid for doing it.
It costs around £60,000 a year to run the team, and every penny of that comes from donations.
Thank you very much, thank you. Cheers. Appreciate that, thank you.
People come along and they give us a lot of money, which is so generous of them, especially at the moment, because it's not easy for people to give out a lot of money to charities at the moment. So, they're keeping us going really with all those donations.
Well, things have changed fantastically. When I first started, nobody got a vehicle, for instance. We used to have to go and pick up the stretchers in our own cars, those who've got cars, and chuck them in and take them along, picking other people up. The call-out system, it was my wife sitting on the phone, ringing round everybody, so she had something like 30-odd telephone calls, where now we've got all the pager systems and things like that, getting people out in a few minutes. 4 decent vehicles so that we can get out, a wonderful base now, whereas we had the original meetings in our kitchen around the table. Now we've got this wonderful base, we can have all of our meetings, training, etc., there. So it's a completely new world really to what it was.
The team now does around 120 rescues every year, and every one brings a new and unique challenge.
Received a phone call informing me of a person that had fallen in Crowdenbrook on Kinder Scout. The information came through, it was quite a significant fall, and that the lady may well be suffering from head injuries. She'd suffered a fractured skull, several fractured ribs, she'd got a punctured lung and some fractured vertebrae, so quite a sick casualty. We don't get to use a Sea King very often. It was a multi-trauma job, quite a difficult extraction even though we used the aircraft. Without Mountain Rescue being there, that lady would have been there for an awful long time, and the injuries that she got, it could have turned out different. So the Mountain Rescue Service is the only service that can deal with that type of incident.
When the pagers went off, I was actually first on scene from the team. So as we arrived, it was all fairly fresh.
This injury is a pain in the lower limbs so far, that's all we can ascertain. Right. So what priority is stabilisation of the cockpit first?
It's not what you'd call the usual remit for mountain rescue. However, we do see every other year probably we have a call out to the gliding club.
Ready, steady, lift.
There's a very active gliding club in our patch, and unfortunately if there is a crash landing, it can be a fair distance away from the road, so our specialist skills in accessing countryside, if you like, can be used.
Today, another climber needs their help on the country's busiest rock face.
We've just received a call out from the police that there's someone with an injury. We don't know exactly the circumstances at Stanage Edge. It's one of our kind of busiest and most popular call out spots, so we go here probably 15 to 20 times during the summer. Stretcher and wheel, backboard. We've got a paramedic who's almost reaching the top now. The rest of the team, some guys are bringing the stretcher.
13-year-old Lawrence has just finished his toughest ever rock climb, but while scrambling back down, he's had a painful tumble.
Sod's law, after doing a decent climb up the crag, Lawrence was coming down the scrambles area on his own, eager to get back to get some lunch, and he's tumbled. Fortunately, he's had his helmet that saved him getting a worse injury on the head.
Does that make the pain bearable? Or?
I can bear it at the moment. I don't think I could before.
He tumbled enough to sort of go round at least down to his head once, and I don't think he hit too heavily because he probably put his arm out to save him, which is why his arm's taken most of the injury.
He kind of like slipped on a rock, so I went all the way up and he had like grazes all up his arm and he was just lying down and it looked very hurt.
We've got an option, we've got some a gas that you breathe in, okay? It might make you laugh a little bit, okay? So if need be, we can give you a little bit of that.
Okay.
Seems to have an isolated arm injury, not knocked unconscious, no evidence of head injury. So we've splintered his arm injury. James, our paramedic's done that. Managed his pain with some gas and air Entonox, and we've prepared the stretcher to carry him back down to the road where we're going to be met by an ambulance.
I've got him. You got him, mate. Good man.
Isolated left wrist, cuts and grazes to his shins, but other than that, rest.
How you doing?
There you go.
Don't try parachuting now, okay?
This is where the mountain rescue teams come into their own, really. Without them, you know, this person will be sat here a hell of a lot longer, and you know, a hypothermia, even on a day like today where it's been quite warm, would set in. So these guys are vital in this kind of environment.
Luckily, Lawrence has avoided any serious injuries. Many other climbers who fall here aren't so lucky.
My climbing partner's son has fallen, not climbing, I hasten to add, he was just walking along, and we're just getting him off the hill.
Lawrence is one of the team's youngest and lightest casualties, and that makes his rescue even quicker.
I mean, it makes all the difference when they're only 13 years old.
And lower.
what we get told in advance is often very different to reality, so we always err on the side of caution. It's better having too many people than not enough and having to wait for extra team members to make it up there.
Very cosy, and it was quite smooth actually.
A happy casualty is always much better than a really hurt and upset casualty, so the less of the injuries the better, I suppose.
Because it's only a minor injury and he's obviously able to walk. His dad's happy to convey him, so that frees up the ambulance to go to another incident. So the fact that the Mountain Rescue being here to deal with that, it just frees that job up for them and means that there's ambulances available for other 999 calls.
I think Mountain Rescue works very well because it's climbers and walkers looking after climbers and walkers.
People who don't like outdoors, you know, they'll say, well, it's their fault they've got there. But I'm just glad they have got there because they've got out of the house, they've got away from that TV and they're living their life.
The fact that you can call on 50 volunteers at short notice, nobody'd fund that. They couldn't do what they do without the volunteers on this. That's why it's such an important service.
I was just extremely lucky because apart from my wrist, there's not a bruise on me. They were so good and I couldn't believe how fast they were. So for me, it was as if I'd only been there 5-10 minutes. But they just came out and they were just so professional and they were just so good.